What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to a little bit of a different setup than our usual setup. And that's because this is going to be a little bit of a different video than our usual videos. Today, I'm not going to be reacting to music. I'm not going to listen to a new album, but I'm going to take you through my top 10 albums of the year. In this top 10, there's only going to be music that I reacted to. In the past like 7 months, because I only started this music reacting journey in April. So, short little disclaimer, there's only gonna be music in here and albums in here that I listen to on video. I must say this was harder than I expected it to be, because even though there's only like 35 to 40 albums I listened to this year that came out this year, there's a lot of good music I listened to. And it was quite hard to get this into a top 10. It was easier to get it into a top 10, but then to arrange it from like 1 to 10, that was the harder part. So I just wanted to let you know this is my top 10. This is not anyone else's top 10. Your top 10 could totally differ from my top 10, and that's what makes it nice. And the thing I love about music so much and listening to music, that everybody has their own taste, and that's all right. So my top 10 is my top 10 and your top 10 is your top 10. Before we get into our top 10, I just want to note some honorable mentions that didn't make the top 10, but certainly deserve to be named right here. And that starts off with Don't Tap the Glass by Tyler, the Creator. Very dancey, a very poppy, a different side of Tyler that we already knew but don't really see that much. Just a very, very happy, a very dancey, a very vibey, a very groovy album that I just want to have named in this video, because it gave me so much joy listening to it on video, and also gave me so much joy listening to it after the fact. My second honorable mention is Blush by Kevin Abstract. Another great album that is loaded with tracks I really liked. A couple Quadeca tracks, loads of features from people I didn't know yet, beautiful vocals from Kevin, made me go back to some Brockhampton days, made me go back to some Arizona Baby days. I go back to it quite often. It's just a very enjoyable record. Third and final honorable mention is going to be Redfield's Sankofa. Quite a recent album, and I enjoyed it a lot. Just the rapping and the beats. Mini Me is definitely a highlight of the year. Or So I is also a beautiful track. I like the instrumentation. It's just, oh man, it's just very nice. And that's my closer of these honorable mentions. Without further ado, we're just gonna go straight into this top 10. And on number 10 of this top 10, we have Loyal Carner's Hopefully. In my mind. If there's anything that Loyal Carner's music is to me, it is comfort music. It makes me feel warm inside. It makes me appreciate what life is. It's soothing, it's comforting, it's warm, it's introspective, it's vulnerable, and Hopefully is just that. It makes me feel like home. In Hopefully, we hear Loyal Carner capture the complexities of adulthood and parenthood quite well. He talks about becoming older. He talks about being a parent of 2 of his kids, everything that comes with that. The struggle, the blessings. And I can relate to that quite good, because like I'm not 30 yet. I don't have kids yet, but I'm 28. I'm nearing 29. And there's probably going to be a day where I'm going to have kids. So all the struggles and the blessings that he talks about make me empathize and relate to that and reflect on my own life of me getting older, me stepping to adulthood, and me changing my life. So that's what spoke to me a lot in this album. I find the hooks of In My Mind and All I Need to be in my head constantly. And the instrumentation of the smooth guitar and the synths and the soft and warm break beats just tie the music together so well, and his smooth rapping and his soft singing over that, which we have heard Loyal do in the past, but we hear him do on Hopefully so much more. Just ties it together in such a warm and smooth experience of music. For me, the high points of this album were definitely In My Mind and All I Need, but I also like the tracks Horcrux and Purpose, where Loyal just brings us his rapping ability, shows us what he's got as a rapper as well, hands us some bars. Altogether, Hopefully is just a beautiful, nice, smooth album, collection of music where you can almost listen to it all the time in any place and feel good, feel good with yourself and feel good with Loyal. Hopefully is as hopeful as we might expect from a Loyal Karna. Favorite tracks are definitely In My Mind, All I Need, Lying, Purpose, and Horcrux. On number 9 of this top 10, we have Danny Brown's Stardust. Having never really done a deep dive into Danny Brown's music, except for a couple of singular tracks and his collab album with JPEG Mafia, I was just dying to jump into a full album because what I did here, it made me very excited. And boy, did it not disappoint. Stardust is just as eclectic and overstimulating in the good sense of the word as you might expect from a Danny Brown project, with tracks like Starburst and a 1999 driving the front of the album with this very high energy, high pace instrumentals, and Danny with his very authentic high pitched voice rapping over it. But Stardust also doesn't lack in the introspective and more rapping side of Danny Brown, with tracks like Book of Daniel, What You See, both cited by Kodeka, of course, being the more reflective tracks, with Danny Brown rapping in a very much more lower tone of voice than his usual high-pitched voice, and telling the world where he came from. I like that it had both sides, the eclectic and overstimulating side, but also the introspective and reflective side of Danny that we love to see. He really takes a more softer and lower tone of voice in these tracks for the dynamics of an album that's just very pleasant to listen to. Besides that, Danny also embraces his love for like hyper pop and electronic music with tracks like Copycats and Baby with the underscores, which make me very excited and very hyped to listen to. But also like house bangers like Lift You Up, where he just takes you on a totally different route, and he just shows you the versatility that he has in his house. And somehow all these tracks come together so well, and they form this very overstimulating, in the good sense of the word, whole that is Stardust. Every listen, Stardust seems to be growing on me a little bit more. Although I must admit there are also a couple tracks that I just don't go back to because they're just not necessarily my cup of tea. Favorite tracks are definitely Book of Daniel, Starburst, Copycats, What You See, and Baby. On number 8 of this list, we have an album that is quite important to me, it being the first video I made on this channel. It is Black Country New Roads, Forever How Long. When I discovered the band early this year in January, I had the privilege to go back into their discography, their quite small discography, but their profound discography, and listen to for the first time and Ants From Up There, all in the span of like a day. And after that, I started looking at all kinds of reaction channels and just seeing people react to basketball shoes and seeing people react to just the whole Ants From Up There and for the first time, and I absolutely loved it. And that gave me like the final push to start making these videos. I was thinking about it for a while, but after seeing those reactions, I just thought I wanna do this too. So yeah, it's quite a special album for me. After discovering their music, it didn't take me long to like fully dive into the Black Country New Road lore, and also discovered that their lead singer from their first two projects, Isaac Wood, left the band a week before dropping their debut album Ants From Up There. After getting to know their music, that was quite a setback because that was the moment of realization that I knew I was probably never gonna hear the music I just found out about in real life because their lead singer left. But shortly after that, I saw that they were working on a new record, a new album, and I also discovered Live at Bush Hall, where the 3 or 4 vocalists, of course, took up their duties to start singing in replacement of Isaac. And it was a very pleasant surprise to have them continue that with May, Georgia, and Tyler continuing their vocal duties on Forever How Long. And all the singers have such a distinctive style that makes these tracks they sing so authentic. Forever How Long is a magical, whimsical, and Baroque-inspired experience, where BCNR gets to showcase their ability as songwriters, but also as instrumentalists. From beautiful soft cuts like Mary to the more eclectic ones like Two Horses, Forever How Long just has it all, and that speaks for the versatility of this band. And the only reason why this album is a little bit lower on the list is that I tend to go back to their older music more than I do go back to Forever How Long. And I know I shouldn't compare it too much because those are just two totally different eras, but it is a fact I have to deal with. And those first two albums just did things to me that no music has ever done. Favorite tracks are definitely The Big Spin, Socks, Mary, For the Cold Country, Happy Birthday, and Nancy Tries to Take the Night. Definitely beautiful track. On number 7, and this one might surprise you a bit, it has been on a lot of people's end of year lists, and a lot of people also put it at number 1, if not number 2, if not number 3. It was very high up there, but on number 7 I have Rosalia with Lux. This video was without a doubt one of the biggest videos. Well, it was the biggest video of my 2025 record. The support this video has gotten is just insurmountable. It was crazy when it happened. It was just a roller coaster. You guys seem to love the video a lot. I remember just me talking with my girlfriend like, oh my god, it's at 2K, oh my god, it's at 10K, oh my god, it's at 15K. It was a crazy experience. Thank you for all the loving support on that one. It was really nice to see. On this record, she sings in 13 languages and has this like beautiful orchestra. I think it's the London Symphony Orchestra. And out of that comes this gigantic, epic monster of an album with just all kinds of things happening. It was just a very cathartic experience, as you might have seen in the video itself. In Lux, Rosalia just mixes and blends all genres together like it's nothing. Classical, flamenco, electronic, reggaeton, and she just mixes it together and kind of redefines what pop should sound like and what pop can be. The size and the scale of what this album took the world by storm, it's just crazy. Lux, in all its beauty, is, and you gotta be honest, it is an album and it is music that asks quite a lot from the listener. And for me, I have to admit, even as profound that first listen was for me, I don't see myself going back to the music all that often. I seem to only be going back to a couple of tracks. And since I take replayability quite high in this list, Lux is a little bit lower on the list than you might expect from an album that got so much critical acclaim and was praised so highly over the past couple months. But yeah, for me, replayability is an important aspect of this list, and that's why it's a little bit lower. Favorite tracks are definitely Reliquia, Divine Eyes, Berghain, and La Jugular. On number 6, we have an album that people talked about a lot for the past couple of weeks. It is Getting Killed by Geese. Taking recency bias in consideration into account in this top 10 probably made this pick for number 6 for the Getting Killed album lower than I would put it if I didn't take recency bias into account. Because literally Getting Killed is all I've been playing for the past couple of weeks. Together with Cameron Winter's solo project Heavy Metal, it's just all I've been listening to, if I'm being honest. But I also got to be honest, that was also the case for all the albums that came out before or that are higher than Getting Killed. So that's why Getting Killed is only at 6 and not higher right now. Anyone with an ear out for music or an eye out for music in the music scene can't have missed Geese in the last couple of weeks, because they've been all over the internet with Getting Killed, of course, but also Cameron Winter's solo tour with him playing in Carnegie Hall. And having never actually heard of Geese before I started listening to Getting Killed, I was quite pleasantly surprised, to be honest, when I first listened to Getting Killed. But not necessarily on the first listen, though. I wouldn't call their music like easy to get into or easy to listen to. The peculiar singing of Cameron Winter, his weird way of phrasing and his weird way of singing and his weird way of writing, and the instrumentation is just not necessarily that easy to listen to. But I have noticed it gets better with every listen. And after a while, every track just grew on me. Especially Cameron Winter's writing struck me most. It's such a poetic, abstract way of telling a story, which you don't necessarily understand right away, but once you dive into it more, you start feeling the weight of it and what it is about. Getting Killed is an exploration of like art rock and blues rock, and to be honest, me as quite a fresh and new rock fan is all here for it. And I'm excited to see where this band goes into the future. Favorite tracks are Getting Killed, Islands of Men, Bow Down, Half Real, Long Island City, Here I Come, Texas. Oh man, there's just too many to name, to be honest. On number 5, we have Daniel Caesar's Son of Spurgey. Having been a fan of Daniel Caesar for a while, but never really getting past the big hits that were on Fruitian, like Get You or Best Part, I was very pleasantly surprised when I listened to this the first time. I just felt like I had known Daniel's music for a while, but never really gotten a chance to fully appreciate it for what it is. Son of Spurgey was just such a comfort listen for me at that time, and now I catch myself just playing it at all types of gatherings and functions I be at, whether it's like cooking with my girlfriend or alone on the train or getting a haircut from my mom, hanging with friends or whatever. I just feel like you can play his music anywhere and everywhere. Son of Spurgey mixes elements of gospel and R&B together so effortlessly and ties it all together in this very beautiful and spiritual experience that is Daniel talking about family, his upbringing, the way he looks at life now, the way he looks at his faith. Very big subjects. The album's production is just on another level and blends together live instrumentation with electronic synths effortlessly, and above that we just hear these beautiful harmonies created by Daniel with his voice. Truly so beautiful to listen to. The guitar riff on Call on Me is spectacular. The singing on the backhand of Root of All Evil is spiritual, and the closer, Sins of the Father, is gorgeous. Yeah, I'm happy I have found my appreciation for Daniel's music, even though it was there already. Definitely a well-deserved spot in the middle of this list. Favorite tracks were Call on Me, Have a Baby with Me, Who Knows, Root of All Evil, Sins of the Father, Sign of the Times. Just so many to name, man. It's beautiful album for sure. On number 4 on this list, we have Little Sims with Lotus. In my video I did on Little Sims' album Lotus, I ended the video with saying I didn't want to analyze it too much because it gave me a certain type of feeling that I felt didn't need analyzing but only appreciation. But since I put it at number 4 on this list, I feel like now I do have to analyze it a bit. This beautiful hip-hop album that is Lotus. Little Sims is just building up to be one of the most consistent and also best in the UK, but also in the world, and is surely a voice to be reckoned with in hip-hop. Little Sims' anger after what transpired with her former producer Inflo fuels a lot of this record, and you can hear it seep through a lot of these tracks, with the most notable track of course being Thief, where she addresses the drama quite directly. What spoke to me a lot in this album was the quite clear theatrical aspect of it. Me being an actor, I like theater, and I like when artists add an element of theatricality in their music. With Young, of course, being a more notable track in the track list that does this quite profoundly, with her playing the character. But also a track like Blood, where the whole track is just dialogue between a brother and a sister, and them having a conversation, and that in rap form is just beautiful to listen to. Something I can only appreciate a lot when artists use these kind of ways of storytelling in their music. It touched me a lot when I first listened to it. The absolute pinnacle of this album would be the title track, Lotus, where Little Sims gets the most powerful and the most passionate we hear over the whole record, sided by Michael Kiwanuka on the hook and Yusuf Deus with that beautiful, amazing drum solo at the end. Man, that track was just beautiful. That's what I say about this album, that the back end was just perfect. It was so good. It was, man, man. It was so good. Lotus is surely one of my high points of this year. Favorite tracks were Young, Only, Free. Free is such a track. I haven't spoken about Free yet, but such a good track. Blood, Lotus, Lonely, Young. Did I miss one? Enough. Also a banger of a track. Yeah, that's about it. On number 3, we're getting into the top 3 right now. It's getting exciting. I wonder if you know what I have in my top 3, but I'm gonna spoil number 3 on the top 3 right now, and that is Clips with Let God Sort 'Em Out.
Yellow diamonds look like PP. Bitches fly from D.
After just being so positive about Lotus, which was a real highlight in my hip hop year, Let God Sort 'Em Out by Clips was the absolute highlight of my hip hop year. What a pleasure this project was, man. Clips released their first album since 2009, I think. You can sure say that the brothers Malice and Pusha T haven't lost their sauce. And in the time where the genre of hip hop sometimes feels so oversaturated, it was refreshing to have these two just bring out an album that focuses so much on the core elements of rap, and that is rapping. So refreshing to hear a hip hop album like that in 2025. Not to mention the masterful rollout and the aftermath as well, with the videos and the dropping of the tiny desk on the day of the release. Man, they just had it all on lock this year. Pusha and Malice, sided by Pharrell, behind the buttons, take you on journeys where you expect them to take you. Coke rap, bragging and boasting, just bars, just rapping. But the record opens with what you might not essentially expect from them. It opens with The Birds Don't Sing, which is a beautiful track about their last conversations with their mom and dad, who passed away quite consecutively to each other. Beautiful writing, very introspective, very vulnerable, something you might have not expected when you heard Clips was dropping their album. And me, I can appreciate a bit of vulnerability in hip-hop. The project is just loaded with other exciting features. Tyler on POV, of course. We have Kendrick on Chains and Whips. We have Stove Got Cook on FICO. All just bringing their A game. Oh man, the respect for these two hip-hop legends just seeps through with these younger rappers just putting their A game into these verses. I heard that Tyler like rewrote his verse like 20 times or something. That just speaks for how much respect these younger rappers have for Pusha and Malice. Really legends in the game, man. Let God Sort 'Em Out is bold, is raw, it's luxurious, it's occasionally very vulnerable, it's ambitious, it's dark, it's everything you want and everything you might expect from a hip hop album. It was the best hip hop album of 2025, no doubt. Favorite tracks were Birds Don't Sing, Ace Trumpets, POV, FICO, So Far Ahead. I like the hook on So Far Ahead so much by Pharrell. Yeah, those were my favorite songs for sure. On number 2, we have Maruja with Pain to Power. Pain to Power, Maruja, damn. Pain to Power is just a beautiful, poetic, reckless, chaotic, vulnerable, maximalist project. The 8-track record with a runtime of about 15 minutes just takes you the places you don't expect to go. Takes you on a journey through their worldviews, their big questions, their fears, their sonic minds. It takes you on a journey through them. The vocalist Harry does a fantastic job of bringing all these themes together in his beautiful poetic writing. Sometimes straightforward, sometimes abstract and open to interpretation. Musically, Pain to Power is very well put together. Every track has like its own arrangement, even in these 3 10-minute epics that this album has. There is a clear arrangement and a clear idea and a clear journey we go on, and it progresses so well from the beginning to the end of the track. They managed to keep you fully engaged from start to finish. The track Sorcia just hits us with 5 beautiful, jazzy minutes where Harry just explores more of his vocal abilities, which is absolutely beautiful to listen to, and a very welcome vibe switch to in the record after the reckless, very reckless and chaotic Bloodsport and Look Down on Us. The absolute pinnacle musically of this album is how the saxophone and drums take center stage so well, without drowning each other out and still leaving a lot of space for the guitars to do their thing. The record ends with yet another beautiful 10-minute epic, bringing all the musical elements and themes of the album together and ending it with a very magical and cathartic message. An important message. Have no fear, pray for love. Favorite tracks are Bloodsport, Look Down on Us, Sorsha, Born to Die, Zaytune, and Reconcile, definitely. Such a beautiful album, man. Such a beautiful thing to experience. It was amazing. And now for the number one on this list, we have probably my favorite new artist of 2025. It is Quadeca, his Vanisher Horizon Scraper. Like I said, Quadeca is probably my favorite new artist of the year. I know he's been around for a while, but I discovered him this year and I listened to all of his music and I loved it. Absolutely love I Didn't Mean to Haunt You. Absolutely loved Scrapyard. But the pinnacle of it all is definitely Vanisher Horizon Scraper. Such a beautiful experience to listen to. Such a profound experience for me to listen to it at that time. Such a fun and effortless video to make. It was an experience and a half, to be honest. On Vanisher, we follow a lonely sailor adrift on the vast sea and looking for what I interpret as the meaning to life, the meaning to live. It's a story that takes you on the journey of an individual, but it's a concept that is so universal that anyone and everybody will probably find recognition in the themes of the songs. The maximalist approach in the songwriting and the arrangements speak volumes about Quadeca's ability to make music and do songwriting with beautiful piano playing, gorgeous guitar riffs, amazing string sections. It ties together the sound to Vanisher so well with all these elements. If we learn one thing from listening to Vanisher, it is that Quadeca is able to not only tell a story through his lyrics, but also through the sonics themselves. The repetition and progression of No Questions Asked, the beauty and catchiness of Godstained, the excitement of a time like this, the tranquility in I Dream About Sinking, the recklessness of Thunder, and the absolute climax that is Casper. Those are just all highlights of the album. Not to forget the album movie that came out simultaneously with the music. Which ties together the theme so well. It suits the music and the story so perfect. Having had the privilege to experience Quadeca live in Amsterdam a couple of weeks ago, and also being blown away by how this album sounds live, I can absolutely, with 100% confidence, say this is my absolute favorite album of the year. Every track had its own vibe. Every track had its own feeling. And like I think I said it at the end of the video in the reaction, like this is an artist. Sometimes you find an artist you know you're just gonna love for so long. I think Quadeca will definitely be that for me. Vanisher was just a beautiful album and a very deserved number one spot on my top 10. Favorite tracks, all of them. I couldn't choose. All right, that was my top 10 for albums of 2025 that I reacted to. Before I conclude this video, I just wanted to say a massive thank you for these past couple of months. I could have never dreamed when I started this channel in April that I would reach 2,500 subscribers before the end of the year. The support and the positivity has just been very warming and very motivating to keep doing this. I see all your compliments about the setup, about the reactions, and I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thanks a lot. I really like doing this, and I'm gonna keep doing this. 2026 is gonna have a lot more videos. I'm gonna find time to do more videos. I'm just gonna keep doing this for however long I can. I hope you guys had a beautiful Christmas. I hope you're gonna have a very nice New Year's Eve. I'll see you guys in 2026. Thanks a lot again for going on this journey with me. Subscribe if you're new. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of my top 10. If you agree or you disagree, let's start a discussion about music, because that is what this channel is all about. This was pretty new to me to do like a top 10 in this way. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on the albums. I'll see you guys in the next year. Thanks a lot, guys. Really. Thank you so much. Peace.